they did some mischief. They did the mischief. And the mischief is mentioned here is that they drank wine, liquor made of rice. In ceremonies, when Brahmanas and Vaishnavas are sumptuously fed, the host partakes of remnant of foodstuff after the guest has given permission. So the descendants of Vrishni and Bhoja formally took permission from the Brahmanas and ate the prepared foodstuff. Kshatriyas are permitted to drink at certain occasions. So they all drank a kind of a light liquor made of rice. By such drinking, they became delirious and bereft of sense. This is what intoxication does. It takes away one's balance of intelligence. So much so that they forgot their relationship with one another and used harsh words which touched the core of each other's heart. Drinking is so harmful that even such a highly cultured family can become affected by intoxication and forget themselves in a drunken state. The descendants of Vrishni and Bhoja were not expected to forget themselves in this way, but by the will of the Supreme it happened, and thus they become harsh towards one another. तेषां मैरया दोषेण विषामृकृता चेतसाम् निम्लोचति रववासीत् venunam iva mardanam. By the friction of the bamboos, destruction takes place. You know how many times in the forest there is fire? You are aware how the forest fire is ignited? This example is given. When there is strong breeze, so these bamboo trees, which are tall, so what they do? They collide. They collide with each other. There is friction, and from that friction, fire comes out. The fire is ignited by the bamboos and it burns the bamboos and it spreads in the other parts of the forest. So also at sunset, by the interaction of the faults of intoxication, all their minds became unbalanced and destruction took place. When there is a need of fire in the forest by the will of the Supreme, it takes place due to friction amongst the bamboos. Similarly, the descendants of Yadu were all destroyed by the will of the Lord by the process of self-destruction. Just as there is no possibility of a fire occurring deep in the forest due to human effort, also there was no power in the universe which could vanquish the descendants of Yadu, who were protected by the Lord. The Lord wanted them to be so destroyed, and thus they obeyed his order as indicated by the word Tat Anugnata. So Prabhupada is writing here that to vanquish the descendants of Yadu who were protected by the Lord, and the world wanted them to be destroyed. Rakhe Krishna Mare Krishna Rakhe ke. And thus they obeyed his order as indicated by the word Tad Anugnata. Bhagwan Swayatma Mayaya Gatim Tam Avalokya Sa Saraswatim Upaprishya Vrikshamulam Upavisyat. The personality of Godhead Lord Shri Krishna, after foreseeing the end of his family by his internal potency, went to the bank of river Saraswati and sipped water and sat down underneath a tree. Anyone remembers this verse? Saraswatim Upaprishyah. Let me see how much memory recall you have? Saraswatim Upaprishya. Can you remember something? Saraswatim Upaprishya. This we have already covered. Where we covered and for whom it was mentioned. Here it is being mentioned for whom? Saraswatim Upaprishya. Yes, there, Shilbro.
Prabhuji, for Lord Krishna went to.
Yeah, so Lord Krishna, he went on the banks of river Saraswati and he had Achman. So where we have covered this Saraswati Upaprishya? Yes, Ravindra Prabhu?
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी फर्स्ट चैप्टर में व्यासदेव मेडिटेशन शुरू किए थे आफ्टर सिटिंग।
Yes, yes. Very good. Correct answer. Where was Vyasadev? चलो थोड़ा सा पार्ट रह गया वो भी बताओ. Where is it?
सम्यक सम्यक प्रास ऐसा
हाँ,
कुछ।
very good. Samyak Prash. Samyak Prash. Where river Saraswati flows. And he also did Saraswati Mupaprishya. One more personality did. Who was that? बोलो. बड़ा सरल है ये तो. इट इज वेरी इजी. जब आपने वो बता दिया तो इसमें कुछ भी नहीं है. बोलो मनोरम. Who arrived there?
प्रभु जी इसलिए सुखदेव गोस्वामी।
व्यासदेव के पास सुखदेव
नो
गोस्वामी
नो
है. How Bhagavatam begins? पुरुषोत्तम. बोलो जल्दी बोलो. ऑलरेडी लेट है. 9 बज गया.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, याद नहीं।
तुमको भागवतम को पता ही नहीं. भागवतम इतने दिनों से सुन रहे हो, ये नहीं पता भागवतम कैसे शुरू हो रही. माने नहीं माता जी.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम। प्रभु जी, नारद जी।
यस, नारद मुनि. नारद मुनि के in the same place. And he gave the inspiration and instruction to Vyasadev to speak Srimad Bhagavatam. The personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, after foreseeing the end of his family by the internal potency, went to the banks of river Saraswati, sipped water, and sat down underneath a tree. All the above mentioned activities of the Yadus and Bhojas were executed by the internal potency of the Lord because he wanted them to be dispatched to their respective abodes after he has finished his mission of descent. Prabhupada is using the word dispatched. Goods है, वापस भेज दिया. They were all his sons and grandsons and were given complete protection by the parental affection of the Lord. How they could be vanquished in the presence of the Lord is answered in this verse. Everything was done by the Lord himself. Swa Atma Mahayaya. The Lord's family members were either incarnations of his plenary expansions or demigods from the heavenly planets, and thus before his departure, he separated them by his internal potency. Before being dispatched to their respective abodes, they were sent to the holy place of Prabhas, where they performed pious activities and took food and drink to their heart's content. It was then arranged for them to be sent back to their abodes so that others could see that the powerful Yadu dynasty was no longer in the world. In the previous verse, the word anugnata, indicating that the whole sequence of events were arranged by the Lord, is significant. These particular pastimes of the Lord are not a manifestation of his external energy or material nature. Such an exhibition of his internal potency is eternal. And therefore, one should not conclude that the Yadus and Bhojas died in a drunken state, in an ordinary factory schedule war. Sri Jiva Goswami comments on these incidents as magical performances. So it is the plan of the Lord that his family members all wind up and return before he returns. Aham cha ukta bhagavata prapanna arti hare naha badarim tvam prayahati badarim tvam prayahiti swakulam sagni hirshuna. The Lord is the vanquisher of the distress of one who is surrendered unto him. Thus, he who desired to destroy his family told me previously to go to Badrikashram. Who is speaking? The Lord is the vanquisher of the distress of one who is surrendered unto him. Thus, he who desired to destroy his family told me previously to go to Badrikashram. Who is speaking this? Yes, Ravindra Bro.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna,
Ravindra.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Uddhav ji is saying,
Yes, very good. Very good. This is quality of hearing. Thank you. You have made my day. Perfect answer. She is so attentively hearing. Excellent. This is Udhav ji saying. While in Dwarka, Udhav was warned to avoid the distresses which were to follow the disappearance of the Lord and the destruction of the Yadu dynasty. He was advised to proceed to Badrik Ashram because there he could associate with the devotees of Nar Narayan in their association of devotional service, increase his eagerness for chanting, hearing, knowledge, and detachment. Oh. See, who is being recommended? Uh, Udhav ji. Udhav ji is what? He is Haridas. Hmm? Krishna says that no one is as dear to him as is Udhav. Neither Lord Shiva, nor Brahma, nor Lakshmi, nor Sankarshan, nor himself, as Udhav is dear. And what the Lord advised? That he could associate with the devotees so that he can increase his eagerness for chanting, hearing, knowledge, and detachment. Wow. So much is the power of association. तथापि तद अभिप्रेताम जानन अहम अरिदम प्रहस्तो अन्वागमम भर्तु पादा विश्लेन न अक्षमा. Yet in spite of my knowing his desire to destroy the dynasty, or Arindama Vidura, I followed him because it was impossible for me to bear separation from the lotus feet of the Master. So Krishna advised Uddhava to go to Badrik Ashram, but he did not follow. He followed Krishna. Then where he reached? By following Krishna, where he reached? बोलो बोलो भाई, कहाँ, वेर ही रीच? उधवा? पुरुषोत्तम, अब तो सुन रहे हो या अभी भी नहीं सुन रहे? बोलो। है? सुनाई दे रहा है पुरुषोत्तम प्रभु? प्रदीप, यू आंसर।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु, द्वारका।
गलत। यू आर नॉट हियरिंग विद दैट। बोगस। Whom was Uddhav following? What are you speaking? Whom was Uddhav following? Pradeep, answer.
Lord Krishna प्रभु, सुप्रीम।
And where did Lord Krishna go? Dwarka. From Dwarka, he went to Dwarka. You're not hearing. भाग्य सैनी, बोलो। ये तो
प्रभु
अभी
सरस्वती,
अभी। हाँ,
सरस्वती रिवर।
सरस्वती रिवर। क्या सुन रही हो? बिल्कुल नहीं सुन रहे आप लोग। बोलो माननीय माता जी।
प्रभास क्षेत्र को।
प्रभास क्षेत्र। प्रभास क्षेत्र। गिरीश, प्रभास क्षेत्र। अभी क्लास की क्लास में नहीं सुन रहे हैं, फिर बाद में बहाने बनाते हैं कि हमने सुना नहीं या हमें याद नहीं है। याद कहाँ से हो गया? अभी कुछ पकड़ ही नहीं रहे। ऐसे खाली बैठ जाने से सुना नहीं कनेक्शन होगा। क्या कॉन्शियसनेस है उसमें सुन रहे हैं, उस पर डिपेंड करता है। कनेक्ट नहीं होगा। He followed him because it was impossible for me to bear separation from the lotus feet of the master. This is being spoken by Uddhav ji. He said, Adraksham ekam asinam vichinvan daitam patim Sriniketam saraswatyam kritaketam aketanam. Thus following, I saw my patron and master Lord Shri Krishna sitting alone and deeply thinking, taking shelter of the bank of river Saraswati, although he is the shelter of goddess of fortune. Those who are in the renounced order of life often take shelter underneath a tree, for whom it is perfectly fit. Those who are in the renounced order of life and often take shelter under the tree, for whom we can say this, amongst our parampara, who fits in perfectly? Mono Purushottam?
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु, छठ गोस्वामी।
Yes, Sadhu Goswamis, correct. 6 Goswamis. While they were in Braj, they were just satisfied by taking shelter. Who? Chief Minister, Prime Minister, and the Finance Minister. But in Braj, they lived so simply. The Lord was found by Uddhav in that condition of taking shelter, as do persons who have no shelter. Because he is the proprietor of everything. Everywhere is his shelter, and everyone is under his shelter. The entire material and spiritual cosmic manifestation is sustained by him, and therefore he is the shelter of everything. So there was nothing astonishing in his taking shelter in the way of unsheltered who are in the renounced order of love. So I'll stop here. It is getting late. Just near to 9:15. Okay. So we have begun the fourth chapter. So first there is conversation between Vidurji and Udhava. And then later we will see that Udhav will guide Vidurji to go to Maitreya Rishi. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Priyanka and Ravindra Prabhu. I was very much appreciating the selection that you did for the dress. It is very soft dress. And it is very, what should I say? Very well. It is very classy dress. My parents were also very happy. So if you do good service, what is the result of good service? हाँ बोलो अनम्यूट करो बोलो बोलो
थैंक यू प्रभु जी, आपने बोला तो हम जाके कर दिए थे वहां से
अरे
उसको।
भैया अब आपको 17 को फिर जाना है और वहां पे जितनी ड्रेसेस हैं वहां पे दो बड़े बड़े बॉक्स हैं उसमें सबको अच्छे से अरेंज कर देना ठीक है तो अगली बार
ठीक,
1 घंटा एक्स्ट्रा देके पूरा सारा अच्छे से अरेंज कर देना
ये
क्योंकि
प्रभु।
मैं 18 को आऊंगा और मैं 18 को एयरपोर्ट से ही सीधे वृंदा वहां चला जाऊंगा गोवर्धन मैं मंदिर नहीं जाऊंगा क्योंकि हमारा 19 से वो सेशन है और उसका कोऑर्डिनेटर मैं हूँ
ये प्रभु,
ठीक है
ये
तो आप 17 को जाना इसी समय जाना 11:30 बजे और
जी,
ड्रेस चेंज कर देना और सारी ड्रेसेस को असाइन करके वो हमारी अलमीरा में बता दूंगा उसमें वो बड़े बॉक्सेस है उसमें अच्छे से कर देना मतलब सेग्रीगेट कर देना हम फोन पे बात कर लेंगे
ये
ओके किसी का कुछ प्रश्न है जिज्ञासा है पूछिए जिज्ञासा होना चाहिए अगर आप लोग पढ़ेंगे तो जिज्ञासा आएगा अभी हम लोग यहाँ पढ़ रहे हैं यहाँ कोई और तो स्पीकर है नहीं तो मैं हूँ और दास रघुनाथ प्रभु हैं हम लोग रोज भागवतम क्लास भी देते हैं तो खूब पढ़ने का मौका मिल रहा है पढ़ने का भी और बोलने का भी कोई प्रश्न नहीं है श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी हरि हरि बोल।